Like, oh my gosh, the Xbox Series X is dropping some bombs today on Twitter in terms of the specs and what it can do. Phil Spencer and his team are coming out swinging, and I absolutely love it. This is exactly what I wanted to see from Microsoft going into the next generation, being aggressive with their plan, making sure that they give information when they can, and continuing to deliver on the consumer-friendly features that we all like. But there is one feature in the Xbox Series X that is set to revolutionize the gaming industry as we know it. And this might be the secret killer app that can balance the power between Microsoft and Sony and that little back and forth between those two here in the US and of course in the West. This is going to be very, very cool in terms of the Xbox Series X. And we even have CD Projekt Red jumping into the fray here. So I'm very excited to talk about this with you guys because Microsoft has announced some more specs or kind of detailed more of what they're going to be doing with the Xbox Series X. But this feature, I'm telling you, is going to be pretty cool. And I hope it becomes the standard in the upcoming generation for all systems, not just Microsoft, but also for Nintendo and for Sony, because I absolutely love that. But before we get into that, guys, we're going to drop some more information on the Xbox Series X and what's powering this system to be a beast in the upcoming generation. So on Twitter, here is what Microsoft, or the official Xbox page, had to say. Power plus speed plus compatibility equals Xbox Series X. 12 teraflops and so much more. Discover what next generation of gaming means to Xbox. All right. Then they had this to say. With the Xbox Series X, power means games that look incredible and feel alive. 12 teraflops, custom RDNA 2 and Zen 2 processor, variable rate shading, hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. With the Xbox Series X, speed means more playing, less waiting. I'm excited for this here too. Custom built SSD, quick resume for multiple games, dynamic latency input, HDMI 2.1, auto low latency mode, variable refresh rate at 120 frames per second support. Xbox Series X brings the next generation of compatibility. Play thousands of games across 4 generations that look and feel better than ever. Smart delivery guarantees you're playing the best version of your game for your Xbox. And that is the big feature that we're going to talk about right there. The play thousands of games across 4 generations that look and feel better than ever. Now here's the cool big feature with this, guys. CD Projekt Red's Twitter account with Cyberpunk 2077 actually jumped into the fray, quote tweeting one of the features here and talked about it. And this is the thing that could revolutionize the industry, saying this: gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk 2077 for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available. So you don't even have to do anything right there. So that is really cool that they're doing that, essentially breaking down the barriers of the whole remaster, remake type of thing, but more of the remaster thing, to where usually you get a game on your PlayStation 3 or you get a game on your PS2 and then you have to buy it again, right, in order to get the upgrades, in order to get the better resolution, in order to get those things. Well, not the case. Not the case with the Xbox Series X, as a lot of these games on the Xbox One will probably just get free upgrades and just look better and play better on the Xbox Series X. Could this destroy the remaster industry as we know it? I mean, if you look at it, the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, and even the Xbox One X to the Xbox Series X, the power difference between those two systems in particular, it's big, right? There is a difference between them. But at the end of the day, it's still the same architecture. It's just more of an advancement in terms of what they've already done. It's not like they're changing to a completely different thing. So it makes complete sense to move in this direction, and this is definitely a good and pro-consumer move. I'm not sure if every other developer in the industry wants to take the example of CD Projekt Red with this one, because they can make a ton of money literally releasing the same game again in a definitive version of the game or a superior version of the game and charge up to $60 for it. We've seen Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, we've seen pretty much every single company and third-party companies kind of do it. Microsoft necessarily not so much. They didn't really do that too much with their Xbox 360 games in terms of first party and all that, but Sony for sure did that with a number of different games, and of course Nintendo's been doing that with their games as well, like Mario Kart, for example. But I'm hoping that going forward, all these companies are set and they know what they want to do, and they can have this, right? To where you can just have a game on your previous system, and whenever it comes out on the next system, you get those nice upgrades and all that just built into there. Very pro-consumer move, and that's why I think that Microsoft is set to kind of revolutionize the industry when it comes to that, because remasters and remakes and all this stuff is a big part of the industry. Some of the best-selling games of all time, right? Some of the best-selling games of all time are remakes or remasters of the previous generation. You can just look at this generation, for example. You have a game like Mario Kart 8. That game has sold over 23 million units on the Nintendo Switch. That was a Wii U game. Look at The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That sold 13, 14 plus million units. That was on the Wii U. Look at Grand Theft Auto 5. That sold over 120 million units. That was on the PS3 and 360. So it's really something that can change the landscape of how things operate, and it gets me more excited about the Xbox Series X. I'm playing a game on the Xbox right now called Code Vein, and that would be really cool if I could play Code Vein more, or I can play some of these other Japanese RPGs that I bought on my Xbox One and play them on my Xbox Series X and get some really nice upgrades and improvements as we head into the next generation. Really pro-consumer, and I'm hoping that Nintendo and Sony kind of follow suit with their follow-up systems. So Sony's going to have their PlayStation 5. We'll see what they do with that. And then Nintendo is going to have the Nintendo Switch 2 at some point. I'm hoping that they just stay put with what they're doing. Don't get flustered. Continue going with the hybrid route and make a beast with Nvidia and Nintendo. Make a really cool custom hybrid system and continue to dominate that market and make it to where you can play all of your previous Switch games that you already have, right? All of your previous really dope Switch games, put them on the Switch 2 whenever that drops, and that upgrades and that enhances things, makes better frame rates and everything. But this whole cross-gen type of thing that Microsoft is doing and making it to where you can play all the previous games like that, like the previous ones, like that's just incredible. People are going to be playing Xbox 360 games, the old library from their original Xbox. You have the Xbox One. There's so many different games to play and enhanced on the Xbox Series X. I think that's going to be really cool to see how they're going to be able to pull that off, because that seems very difficult, especially for the price. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, all these numbers and all this stuff is fantastic, right? All these features, all these numbers, all these teraflops, all these backwards compatibility, all these multiple resume play, all of this stuff is cool, but man, this system is going to be expensive. It's going to be $500 for sure, $500 at the minimum for this system. And they're probably going to have the Lockhart, which has been rumored, which is going to be more of the cheaper budget line system. It might be more in line with the Xbox One X in terms of power and everything. But when you look at it, like, this is not going to be cheap. So while they're going to gain traction and gamers are going to buy their system, $500 systems have never done amazingly on the market, $500 launch systems. So I don't know how much reach this is going to have, but when it comes to hardcore gamers and consumers out there that want the best experience possible and want to be able to play a lot of their previous games and everything, I think that it's going to be a home run. It's going to be a knockout of the park. They're going to do well. But in terms of reaching the overall casual gamer, it's going to be a little tough with the price of this system, because there's just too many features, there's just too much power, and there's just too much stuff packed in there in order for this to be affordable in terms of for what the general or casual consumer thinks. Because most consumers want to drop about maybe $250 to $300 on a new system, and this one's definitely going to be hundreds of dollars more than that. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, I know for core gamers out there, this is going to be really fun. It's going to be a big launch, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to play. Even if the launch lineup isn't the best out there, you have the previous gens that you can kind of go to and get those upgrades and enhancements. So I'll be picking it up day one, of course. And like I said, this new feature might revolutionize the industry going forward. Kind of like how Microsoft revolutionized the industry with their first two systems, with the Xbox, the original, then the Xbox 360. Some of the stuff that they introduced is still a standard to this point today. So we'll see going forward. So what do you guys think about the Xbox Series X and this brand new innovative feature? Are any of you guys planning on picking it up? Do you want Nintendo to do the same thing with their next Switch in line? How about PlayStation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the link in the description. We've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on there. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.